Mikey, Inoculated Canaries, Hypocrite is out now. How would everything come about with Hypocrite? And because it's such a good song.
You know, it's really funny actually because I wrote Hypocrite well before kind of coronavirus, well before any of this stuff happened. But obviously the song was about the president, and I won't get too political here, but I'm just going to say that I'm not a fan of the president, and I think a lot of people are not fans. So that was good inspiration for the song. And then we filmed the video, and we actually sat on it. We had the whole project done almost a whole year ago. We sat on it because we wanted to release it for the election, and little did we know, good thing we did, otherwise we wouldn't have been able to get together and have 10 people working in the studio, engineers, producers, all this, and then try to film the video. It would have been impossible with coronavirus. So we got lucky that we actually kind of had the foresight to do this a while ago. But yeah, I mean, we wanted to make sure that we are on the right side of history, I think, as far as this current political climate and the importance of the election coming up.
Yeah, and to be honest, I'm not a fan of this president either. So that's why I
No,
say this week is a good week for that song to really hit and resonate. But yeah, because I was listening to the song and I was like, and this has happened like when as soon as they said we're gonna put in a new Supreme Court justice, I was like, damn, this kind of really hits right now. It really
yeah,
hits
man.
hard. What has been the
It's
reaction for the song?
honestly, the reaction has been great so far. Well, actually, it's been 50-50. All the people who liked us that are voting a certain way are not a big fan of the song, and
Yeah.
all the people who like us that are voting the way that I'm probably going to be voting. All those people really like the song. The response has been great. I
Mhm.
think people, I don't know, people want something that they can get behind that really kind of captures how pissed off everybody is with what's
Yeah.
going on right now, you know?
And,
So
and
I
that's
think
yeah.
yeah, I think people are really excited about the energy and the fact that we're like, he's a hypocrite, man. Like everybody in politics is a hypocrite,
Mhm.
Like I'm sure you heard this thing 4 years ago when Obama
Mhm.
in his last term, when he was going to pick a Supreme Court judge,
Yeah.
Lindsey Graham said, "Oh, if it's a Republican president, use my words against me." Well, here we are, and everybody's saying, "Yeah, let him pick." It's hypocrisy
Yeah.
in its purest form, and we're
Mhm.
seeing it. And listen, if it's just a monetary thing, or if it's like you know if people's lives aren't at stake, you could be a hypocrite all you want, but we've got 200,000 people dead. Someone's got to own up for it. we've got
Exactly.
we've got a girl dead asleep in her own freaking apartment. Like someone's got to be responsible for it. So yeah, everybody's a hypocrite.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that's the one thing I love about music, because right now is the time where songs like yours need to be out. Need to talk
Thank
to,
you.
need people to think. Similar to like when I was growing up in high school, when it was Green Day, Rage Against the Machine, really talking out about what's going on. Um, Especially you're in New York, correct? On the New York side of
Yes,
things.
sir. Queens,
So,
born and raised.
awesome. So, what did you experience during this whole time? Have Was it able to like really come out with some new songs, new material, especially seeing what was happening in New York?
So actually, I'll tell you about another project I'm working on. So James is the drummer from the Inoculated Canaries.
Mhm.
We have a side project which is another band called King Falcon. So we kept the bird theme, but the music is totally different. So we actually just finished recording a music video in the midst of coronavirus. I mean, we filmed it like 3 weeks ago. We did an overnight shoot in New York City, and I won't give too much away, but that video is about just how dark and sad it was here. I mean, it's the only time where you could be out on a beautiful summer day in the middle of Manhattan and it looks like a ghost town. All the shops are closed and lights are off, and there aren't people in the streets, and the people that are kind of avoiding each other. I know New Yorkers are not super famous for being friendly, and that's that's just kind of how it is. But even more so, I mean, people just really, it's just such a dark time, and we got hit harder than just about everywhere else because we have such a dense population. We've got 9 million people in like 5 miles. It's
Mhm.
crazy. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's bad, and it's still bad here. I mean, businesses are struggling, and businesses are just people, especially small businesses like restaurants and um little shops and things like that, which that's what makes New York great, but that's what's hurting the most right now. Well, Jeff Bezos and all those guys are making millions and billions. The people that really carry this country are hurting the most right now.
Exactly. So tell us a little bit about how the band got started. How did you guys get or find each other? What happened with all that? The beginnings of the band.
So I'm 21 now. The Canaries has been my life project that I started when I was 13.
Damn.
So the very first EP that we put out, the Blue Laws, I was 13 when we wrote those songs. So we've been doing this for a minute. I think we really started to be adults about this a couple years ago. So some people see the band and they're like, "Wow, you guys have been around for 10 years?" I'm like, "Yeah, but I was 13 when we started it." So back then, I was just kind of writing songs, and we had an audition, right? And James showed up, and James was the only guy who showed up for the audition. So obviously he got the bit, and he's been in the band ever since. And it's kind of been me and him. He's the drummer again, and then so we started working at School of Rock. You ever heard of School of Rock? I was a School of Rock student a while ago, when I was, around that time, 10 to 15 ballpark. James was working there as well. And that's where we met Dylan and Brian, who are the other two guys in the band. Dylan plays bass and Brian plays keyboards. So, it's just kind of one of those things where we all kind of thought the others were into similar stuff, kind of similar musicianship level. And we just gelled, spend 10 hours a day together at work, and then a couple hours at rehearsal every day. And you do that every day for years, and you get pretty close with people. I think we're at the point now where I know what James is thinking before he thinks it. And that's why you could see that in our live shows and stuff like that. But it's really just my whole life has been this band. Like if not for this, I don't think that I would even know who the hell I am, because this band is everything that I've done for the last 10 years of my life.
That's pretty cool, man, that you're able to do that, and that's been your passion, your life dream. What were some of your influences in music when it comes for the band?
So I was really into the kids call it dad rock these days. Floyd, Zeppelin, Steely Dan, Frank Zappa, all that classic stuff. And then when I went to college, I think I got into some newer stuff. So if you can call the Foo Fighters newer. Foo Fighters,
25 years, and they're still newer.
Nirvana, 30 years, but also bands like Tame Impala. Have you listened to much Tame Impala?
Yeah,
I think Kevin Parker is a genius, and the reason that I think he's a genius, first of all, the way that he writes melodies is absolutely incredible. I mean, they're so unique and they're original, and his production is fantastic. But I think he's really managed to take. There was a Jimmy Page quote where he said that people often imitate the Led Zeppelin riffs, but they don't imitate the spirit. And that's not the case for Kevin Parker, because his sound is so unique, but he captures what's great about all those bands from the 60s that we like Floyd and like the Beatles. And he's got all that, but you listen to him, and unlike a band like Greta Van Fleet, which is just, Led Zeppelin Part 2, you hear those influences, and they're modern and they're new, and you hear his voice right away, and you're like, oh my God, yeah, that's Kevin Parker. I know who he is. So I'm a big Tame Impala fan. But yeah, I mean, kind of all over the place, but everything that I like is really guitar-driven rock. And I think if you listen to the Canaries, you'll hear that.
Yeah, I definitely heard that right off the bat. Well, and it's good to hear, because I'm a big Foo Fighters fan. So there you go.
It rolls the band, dude. You gotta love it.
Exactly. There's something there with that band, and I could hear like a lot of the guitar riffs, a lot of the strong guitar riffs on your band. So that's really cool. I love a good guitar heavy band.
Thank you.
So just to wrap it up, I know you're busy today. How could people find you? Be able to take a look at the new video, and for next year, is there a tour coming up? A little concert tour next year already being planned, or?
Sure. So anywhere you look, we're going to be there. So if you've got Instagram, we're there. If you've got Twitter, if you've got Facebook, if you want to listen to the song, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, Google, whatever you use, any streaming platform, we're there. Also, if you want to see the video, check out our YouTube channel. That really helps us out a lot, especially if people subscribe. That kind of that'll make it so that we can go to more places when we hopefully tour next year. The more subscribers we have, so anywhere you go, we'll be there. Then again, just make sure you spell inoculated with one N. A lot of people spell that wrong. It's a hard word. And that's a funny story, real quick, not to get sidetracked. I actually hate the name. It's awful. But it was my own creation, and I came up with it like 10 years ago. And what happens is people have a visceral reaction immediately. You either really, really like it, or you're like, what the is that? You know, like, that's awful. But the other thing about it is because it's so strange, it's pretty recognizable, and because we've been using it for a while, like, some people know who we are, so we've kind of gotten to a point where we can't change it. But every time it comes out, I'm like, oh my god, this stupid name I came up with when I was a kid. Anyway, that was an aside, but hopefully we can tour next year. Again, nobody knows what the hell's going on, so if not, we're working on a live stream system where we're trying to make sure the audio is really good, because doing a live stream is hard, because the audio sucks. Usually it sounds like somebody's filming with like a potato, so we're really trying to make sure that we can get the audio good so it sounds like a live show. So it's going to be, if you follow us on Instagram, you'll see what's going on, so make sure you do that.
Very cool. And you know what? Like I always say, sometimes the weirdest names are the ones that stick in people's heads.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna wind up following you and following you and following you. So that names are names. But you guys have a great band. The sound is great. I'm hoping that next year we're able to see some live concerts again, because I want to see you in concert, in person, and be there for a show, because I think you guys have a great future ahead of you guys. And
I appreciate it, man. I hope so too. I mean, I want to go. I want to go to a Tame Impala show next year. So I'm hoping.
Well, you want to open for Tame Impala next year.
That's true. I do want to open for Tame Impala. Yeah. I want to have beers with Kevin Parker, man. I want to be best buds.
Exactly. Hey, thank you so much for being a part of Muse.
Thank you, man. I'm sorry I showed up late. It's my bad.
That's okay. No problem. But I really appreciate you coming on, and we're looking forward to hearing more from your band. Before we get off we finish this interview, is there an album coming out, or is there an album soon?
So here's the plan. Actually, the Canaries have so much music that we record because James owns the studio. We go there and we record stuff all the time.
Yeah.
If we wanted to, we could put out a whole album tomorrow. Our plan is to kind of drip feed a little bit, just so we can listen. I mean, it's business at the end of the day. We're trying to get a label, and we're trying to really we're trying to make some big moves. So I think we're gonna probably release things as singles, but we got a whole bunch of music stockpiled away, and you guys will hear it soon enough. Actually, we've got another one that we've already got the song's done, it's mastered. We finished the music video. That one's called All Right, and I think that one's probably gonna come out next, but we'll see.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mikey. I really appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you soon. And thank you.
Thank you, man. Take care.